Hello everybody, welcome to judycentral.com online classes for law exams. So today I will be dealing with you the MCQ questions on Muslim law for your upcoming LLM entrance examination. So whether you're preparing for JMI Jamia or Aligarh Muslim University or BHU or DU LLM entrance exam. So Muslim law is important for all LLM entrance examinations. So I will be dealing with you a total number of 130 questions. These questions are very important, and the rest of the questions I will be discussing with you in the next session. So before starting this session, good morning to everyone, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it, because we are posting such videos every day. So if you do not want to miss such videos, do subscribe to our channel so that you give notifications of all other future informative videos. So let us start with our first question. Question number 1. Religion taught by Prophet Muhammad is known as option number A, Islam. 2. There are how many sources of Islamic law? This is 4. Option number C. Which of the following are sources of Muslim law? This is option number D, Quran, Qiyas, Ijma and Sunnah. So Sunnah is the fourth source of Islamic law. 4. Muslims are governed by option number C, Quran and Shariat law. 5. Which of the following is the most important source of Muslim law? This is option number D, Quran. 6. Which of the following is no longer an important source of Muslim law? This is option number C, customs and usages having force of law. Question number 7. A Muslim goes to any country of the world. This is option number A, with his personal law. 8. Which of the following is not a primary source of law under Shia law? This is option number B, Ijma and Qiyas. Then question number 9. Under Shia law, the primary source of law are these all of the above: Quran, Ahadith, reason, all of the above. 10. There are dash major schools of Sunnis in India. There are 4 major schools of Sunnis in India. 11. 2 major sects of Muslims in India are Shias and Sunnis. 12. Which of the following schools of Muslim law recognizes the powers of the head of the family over his wife's property and over his children? So this has been given in option number B, Maliki school. 13. Muslim law applies to this option number both A and B, Muslim by birth or origin, and B, Muslim by religion or conversion. 14. According to the Shariat, if one of the parents is a Muslim, the child is to be treated as a Muslim. Option number A. 15. Shariat Act 1937 came into operation on B, 7th October 1937. 16. Originator of the modern theory of Islamic law is option number A, Egan's Goldziher. 17. Under Muslim law, marriage is option number A, contract. 18. In Mohammedan law, marriage is option number D, contract for legalization of intercourse and the procreation of children. Essential requirements of Muslim marriage are, these option number both A and B, Ijab and Kabul. 20. For a valid Muslim marriage, this option number C, offer and acceptance must be at the same time and same place. 21. At the time of marriage, Mohammedan law is option number B and C above, doesn't describe any specific words to be uttered at the occasion, and C, if proper words are not used, consummation of marriage cures deficiency. 22. Witnesses to the marriage is essential under option number A, Hanafi law. 23. Marriage under Sunni law must be performed before option number A or C, 2 male witnesses, or C, 1 male and 2 female witnesses. 24. Shiite law provides that, so it provides that for marriage witnesses are not necessary, option number D. 25. Which one of the following is not essential for a valid marriage under Muslim law? This is option number B, fosterage. 26. A says in the presence of X and Y, I have married myself to B who is not present. On the information reaching B, she says, I have accepted. So this is actually option number B, this doesn't constitute a valid marriage, as offer and acceptance must be made at the same time and place. 27. Legal incompetency to marriage under Mohammedan law is option number C, A and B both above, minority and B and soundness of mind. 28. In cases of legal incompetency in Muslim law, this is option number A, the guardians can validly enter into a contract of marriage on behalf of their wards. 29. Mark the incorrect statements. This is option number D. The provisions of Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929 renders marriages between minors invalid. 30. In Muslim law, the age of majority is attained at option number D, puberty. 31. A Muslim can marry any number of wives not exceeding option number A, 4. 32. If a Muslim marries a fifth wife, such marriage shall be option number C, irregular. 33. Islamic law provides for option number C, controlled polygamy. 34. A Muslim married woman marries C, a second husband. Such a marriage shall be option number B, void. 35. Which of the following is or are absolute prohibition for marriage under Muslim law? This is option number D, all of the above. Consanguinity, also known as qurbat. B, affinity, musharat, and C, fosterage, riza. 36. In Muslim law, marriage with a woman prohibited by reason of blood relationship is. So this is actual option number B, void, and issue will be termed as illegitimate. 37. A Muslim is prohibited from marrying his sister who is related to him. This is option number D, all of the above, by full blood, by uterine, or by consanguine. 38. A marriage of a Muslim man with his niece or great niece is option number B, void. 39. A Muslim male cannot marry. This is option number D, all of the above, wife's mother, son's wife, and foster sister. 40. Unlike Hindu law, there is no prohibition in Muslim law for the marriage A and C, like of two cousins, and C with a brother's widow. Then 41. A marriage of a Muslim with a woman prohibiting by reason of affinity shall be option number A, void. 42. A marriage of foster relations is option number C, prohibited except certain foster relations. 43. With whom a valid marriage can be contracted by a Muslim. This is neither A nor B. Ascendants or descendants of his wife, this is not true, and the wife of any ascendants or descendants. 44. Unlawful conjunction arises when a Muslim marries two wives who are related to each other by either A or B or C. Either they are related to each other by affinity, consanguinity, or fosterage. 45. Under Hanafi law, disregard to the bar of unlawful conjunction renders some marriage void. So this is option number B, irregular, and the issue will be legitimate. The marriage will be irregular, but the issue will be legitimate. Question number 46. Shia law doesn't provide for option number C, irregular marriage. 47. Muslims belonging to different schools of Mohammedan law, this option number A, may intermarry freely with one another. 48. In India, terms kitabi or kitabiya applies to both A and B above. This is Jewish and Christians. 49. A Muslim man cannot marry, this option number D, an idolatress or free worshippers. 50. Marriage of a Muslim woman with a non-Muslim shall be option number B, void. 51. Mark the incorrect statement, this option number D, where consent to the marriage hasn't been obtained. Consummation even against the will of woman will validate the marriage. 52. Where a Muslim male and Muslim female contract their marriage under the Special Marriage Act 1954, Muslim personal law, this option number B, doesn't apply. 53. Mark the incorrect statement, this option number D, the marriage of a Shia male with an idolatress or fire worshipper is valid. This is not valid. Option number 54. Marriage which are irregular under the Sunni law, under the Shia law, the same are option number B, void marriage. 55. Iddat means, it means option number C, a period of seclusion compulsory undergone by a Muslim widow or divorcee. Then 56. If a Muslim widow or divorcee is pregnant and the marriage is dissolved by death, the period for iddat is for option number B. This question has been asked many times. Actually, most of the questions which we have already discussed have already been repeated so many times in examinations. This is 4 months and 10 days and or unto delivery, whichever period is longer. 57. Under Muslim law, presumption of marriage may be raised. This is option number D, all of the above. When a man acknowledges the wife as his woman as his wife, then by the prolonged and continuous cohabitation as husband and wife. C, where there is an acknowledgement of the legitimacy of the child born after cohabitation. 58. Which of the following conditions may not be validly stipulated in a nikah nama? This is option number B, any agreement as to future separation. Question number 59. A Muslim marriage may be option number D, valid void or irregular. 60. Which of the following is a legal effect of a marriage? This is option number C. Status of woman doesn't change and she is subject to her own premarital school of law. 61. The legal effects of a void marriage are option number D, all of the above. The children are illegitimate. It is no marriage at all and no legal consequences flow from it. And C, no legal action is necessary to declare such a marriage is void. 62. An irregular marriage is option number A and C both. So not unlawful in itself but unlawful for something else, as where the prohibition is temporary or relative or remedial. And C, not a valid marriage but it can be made fully valid by remedying the prohibition. 63. An irregular, which is also known as the fasid marriage, can be terminated. So it can be terminated either by husband or by wife. 64. An irregular marriage. So an irregular marriage cannot be terminated either before or after consummation. Question number 69. One second. Section number 65. In an irregular marriage, the wife is option number D is entitled to dower if the marriage is consummated before termination. So she will be liable for, she is actually entitled to dower if the marriage is consummated before termination. 66. The wife of an irregular marriage is option number D is bound to observe the iddat in case of death of the husband or divorce only if the marriage is consummated. 67. The absence of witnesses makes a Muslim marriage. This is option number C, irregular under Sunni law but valid under Shia law. 68. A muta marriage is option number B, 1, 2 and 4. It's actually temporary marriage recognized under Shia law. And 4, a marriage for a fixed period, that is a day, a month, a year or years. 69. A Shia male cannot contract a muta marriage with, this is option number D, any other religion. 70. A Muslim woman can contract a muta marriage with option number A, momdan. 71. A valid muta marriage must option number C, both C and B, specify the dower and B, prescribe the period of cohabitation. 72. A muta marriage is option number D, both A and B are incorrect. A marriage for pleasure or a marriage of convenience and akin to prostitutes. So this both are totally incorrect. 73. A contract of muta marriage cannot be put to an end by divorce. Question number 74. On consummation of a muta marriage, the wife is entitled to option number C, full dower. 75. If a muta marriage is not consummated, the wife is entitled to, then it is entitled to half dower. 76. No iddat is necessary in case of a muta marriage. So in case of where marriage has not been consummated, so in this case the keeping the period, following the period of iddat is not necessary. So 77. Period of iddat prescribed in case of dissolution of muta marriage is actually 2 courses. The period of iddat is prescribed for 2 courses only in those kinds of marriages in which marriage has been consummated. 78. Which of the following is true regarding muta marriage? This is all of the above. Wife is not entitled to maintenance unless specified. B, no mutual rights of inheritance created between the spouses, but children considered legitimate and capable of inheriting from both parents. And C, husband doesn't have a right of divorce but he can terminate the union earlier by making a gift of the term. 79. If there is evidence of the term for which the muta marriage was fixed and cohabitation continues after that term, then this option number C, muta marriage stands extended for the whole period of cohabitation. Question number 18. Under Muslim law, a presumption of marriage may be raised. This is option number D, all of the above, by the prolonged and continuous cohabitation as husband and wife. B, when a man acknowledges a woman as his wife. And C, when there is an acknowledgement of the legitimacy of the child born after cohabitation. 81. Mark the incorrect statement. This none of the above. Muslim law provides for controlled polygamy. This is true. In Muslim law, a marriage for a fixed period is recognized. This is also true. And C, in Muslim law, marriage is a contract which has for its object the procreation and legalizing of children. 82. Where the marriage has not been consummated and is dissolved by divorce, then in that case there is no iddat. 83. Where a marriage has not been consummated, iddat has to be observed in cases of, so only in cases of death, not in cases of divorce. 84. Which of the following is a false statement? Dower is an amount payable to the wife on divorce. So this is actually not true. 85. Dower and meher belongs absolutely to wife. 86. As regard payment, dower can be both A and B, prompt and deferred. 87. A Muslim couple may fix. So in this case, a Muslim couple may fix both A and B are correct. Let us see. Any amount of dower and an amount which is evidently much beyond the means of the husband. Question number 88. In Islam, the dower can be, so it can be either specified or unspecified. Option number C. 89. Specified dower can be fixed either A or B or C before the marriage or at the time of the marriage, at any time after marriage. So a specified dower can be fixed at any time. Question number 90. Which of the following dower is fixed by mutual agreement of parties? This is option number A, specified dower. 91. Deferred dower is payable on the dissolution of marriage. This is either A or B, by divorce or death. 92. Prompt dower is also known as mozal. So these in recent days, like several questions have been asked from the topic of dower. So kindly, it is my suggestions that do prepare well of the topic of dower, because these questions have become very common these days, and especially the question relating to prompt dower, what it is called. So it is called mozal. 93. If a marriage was contracted on the express condition that the wife shall not claim any dower, the wife is entitled to option number C, then it is known as a proper dower. If the prompt dower remains unpaid, this option number A and B, the wife may refuse to live with the husband and to admit him to sexual intercourse. B, the wife may sue for it. Question number 95. Prompt portion of the dower can be realized by the wife. Option number C, at any time before or after consummation of marriage. 96. A dower is what? A dower is actually an unsecured debt. 97. Amount of dower fixed can be, this option number A, increased by the husband after marriage. 98. In the event of non-payment of prompt dower, the wife, this option number A, can refuse to live with her husband and admit him to sexual intercourse. 99. Widow's right of retention, this option number A, doesn't confer any title over the property. 100. Kharchi pandan. Kharchi pandan is also a personal allowance to the wife for betel box expenses. Question number 101. Marriage agreement between a Muslim couple may provide for this mewa khoi, guzara or kharchi pandan. 102. A Muslim can divorce his wife, this option number A, whenever he so desires, but only with a cause. 103. Under Muslim law, this option number A and C, there is no provision for a decree of judicial separation. And then C, certain agreements could be entered into at the time of marriage or subsequently thereto which stipulate for separation or divorce on the happening of a stipulated contingency. So such agreement could be made. 104. When the divorce proceeds from a Muslim husband, it is called option number A, talaq. 105. Under the Shia law, if the husband has capacity to speak but announces talaq in writing, this is known as void. 106. Pronouncement of talaq can be option number C, either A or B. 107. When clear and unequivocal words are uttered, the divorce is option number D, all of the above express. Talaqul sunnah, talaqul biddat. 108. Ahsan and Hasan is a kind of, this is a kind of talaqul sunnah. This is not Nasan, this is Ahsan and Hasan. Question number 109. Talaqul sunnah, it's actually approved and revocable, and C has two forms, Hasan and Ahsan. So generally a question comes like which kind of divorce is known as approved form of divorce. So the correct option is talaq ul sunnat or sunnah. 110. A single pronouncement of divorce made during a tur followed by abstinence from sexual intercourse for the period of iddat is called option number B, talaq ahsan. 111. The most proper or approved divorce is option number B, ahsan talaq. So ahsan talaq is also approved form of divorce. Question number 112. In ahsan talaq, this option number D, both A and B, a single pronouncement of divorce made during a tur, and B, no sexual intercourse for the period of the iddat after tur. So in case no sexual intercourse takes place for the period of iddat after tur, then that marriage comes to an end. Question number 113 talaq ahsan is actually option number D, irrevocable. 114 in Hasan talaq, option number A, 3 pronouncement made during successive tours, no intercourse taking place at any of the 3 course. 115 tur means, it means option number C, period of menstruations or period of purity. 116 talaqul biddat is, so it is actually complete irrevocable form of divorce. The famous example is triple talaq. 170 talaqul biddat is not recognized by this, option number A, Shia. 118 talaqul biddat consists of either A or B, a single pronouncement made during a tour clearly indicating an intention irrevocably to dissolve the marriage, and B, 3 pronouncement made during a single tour either in one sentence or in separate sentences. 119 divorce in writing takes effect and becomes irrevocable, so immediately on the execution of the writing. So as soon as the execution takes place, that the divorce comes into place. Triple talaq means, so it means what? Option number A, 3 pronouncement in a single tur in one sentence, then 3 pronouncement in a single tur in 3 sentences, and C, talaq-i-bain or irrevocable talaq. So all of the above. 121 if a husband or the wife dies during the period of iddat following upon a revocable pronouncement of divorce, then each is entitled to inherit the property of the other, option number D. 122 wife is entitled to maintenance during, option number B, iddat of divorce. Question number 123, which is the most common mode of divorce prevalent in India? This option number D, triple talaq. 124 that a Shia male pronounces triple talaq on his wife. So this actually option number D, both B and C are true. This is irrevocable and require of 2 male witnesses required. So a Shia male, if he pronounces triple talaq on his wife, so in case he requires 2 male witnesses. 125 ila is, so ila is a what? So ila is also a form of divorce, and this is actually option number D, all of the above. So let us read. Constructive divorce, also known as constructive divorce, vow of continence, abstinence from sexual intercourse for 4 months. See, where the husband's conduct will have the effect of repudiation, though he didn't use the word talaq with the intention of dissolving the marriage. 126 zihar is, so the zihar is option number A and B, a form of inchoate or incomplete divorce. So ila is a constructive divorce and zihar is a form of inchoate or incomplete divorce, and what it actually happens is zihar, unlawful comparison of wife by husband with his mother or sister or any other woman within the degree of prohibited relationship. 127 law of zihar has been given statutory recognition in Shariat Act 1937 under section 2. 128 a Muslim husband, option number B, can delegate the power to give divorce generally. 129 where in a marriage agreement it is stipulated that in event of the husband failing to pay her maintenance or taking a second wife, the wife will have the right of pronouncing divorce on herself. It is, so it is actually known as a delegated divorce or also known as talaq-i-tafweez, both A and B. So the power has been given to the wife that she can also pronounce divorce on herself in the event of husband failing to pay her maintenance or if he takes a second wife. 130 power to give divorce can be delegated by a Muslim husband to, option number A, wife, option number B, a third person. So this is the end of the today's session, and I hope you all have enjoyed it. Do not forget to give a like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I will be meeting in the next session with the rest of the questions relating to Muslim law, and I will be trying to take subject specific MCQs for every day. So stay tuned, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share our channel among million others, and also give a big thumbs up. So till we meet the next time, saying goodbye. Have a great day.